Hey, I'm Matthew Giorgio, and I'd like to help you answer the question of whether you should go to college or not, particularly study business. Are there alternatives to college business schools? Is college worth it? These are common questions that people have. They're very difficult to answer because everyone's situation is very different. And of course, we cannot predict the future. None of us can do that. But I have the series of questions that I'm going to walk you through. Think of it like a little game, and we can quickly determine whether college is suitable for you or not. So before we go into this quiz, I just want to give you some background about jobs and careers, right? People generally go to college because they want some degree, some diploma, a certification as it's called, to try to open doors of opportunity to get jobs and careers. Of course, people also go to college for the social experience. That's probably even more so. But ultimately, you're paying a lot of time and money to get that credential. And what you need to know is that there's two types of jobs in our world. One is jobs that require degrees and diplomas. These are regulated jobs, and those that do not. For example, you cannot be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, an engineer unless you have a degree or diploma, because these jobs are regulated. They're regulated either by the government or by some industry association that says you have to have gone to college or university and earned this degree or diploma in order to be eligible for this type of job. And they may have other requirements as well. But there's a whole wealth of careers out there and jobs that do not require degrees and diplomas. And business is one of those areas. Whether you want to run your own business as an entrepreneur, whether you want to work in a business as a manager or start at an entry level, whatever it is, you do not actually need a credential. You do not need a degree or diploma from a lawful standpoint. In other words, the government does not regulate these jobs. The industry association does not regulate these jobs. It is up to the employer to determine whether they require a degree, diploma, or some other credential. So that's very important. And increasingly, it appears as though employers, including government, are no longer requiring degrees or diplomas for jobs that do not really require them from a lawful standpoint. So business jobs, creative jobs, arts, writing, entrepreneurship, again, running your own business does not require it. Technology jobs do not require it. That's up to the employer, and a lot of employers are saying, look, we don't necessarily need these credentials as long as you have some experience or some demonstrated skill, some desire to demonstrate that you're able to learn and want to learn, then we will consider hiring you. So that's very important for you to understand that if you require a job that is regulated, you're going to have to go to college to earn that degree or diploma. There is no other option. But if you don't need that kind of job, that's where you have to really consider whether spending years in school and a lot of money is worth it. And you have to also keep in mind that a large percentage of students, particularly in North America, 30-40% statistics show, do not actually finish their college degree or diploma. So you could actually spend years of effort in school and lots of money, maybe even going to debt to go to school, and then have no credential at the end. And so then you have to really consider that. So I created this very quick and easy survey that you can do yourself. We'll do it together here, and you can quickly see if college is a fit for you for learning business, okay? So what we're going to do here, we have 19 questions. We'll go through them quickly. You should score yourself on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 to 5. And then at the end, add them up, add the scores up, and we'll see what your suitability level is for going to college business school. All right, so let's do that starting with question number 1. How important is it for you to earn a college diploma or degree? So even though you may not require one for business, it can open some doors because some employers do require these things. So is that important to you? If you want to start your own business, the degree or diploma may not be important at all because no one cares whether you have one or not. It's your business. You can do what you want. You can be as successful as you can try to achieve. But other cases, you may want that degree or diploma. So on a scale from 0 to 5, so 0 would be the far left, not very. 5 would be very important to you, or somewhere in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you rate yourself. I'm going to always choose the middle one just for the sake of going through this. But you rate yourself on that to see where you fit on that scale. All right, let's go on to the next question. How important is it for you to participate in the social experience college offers? So lots of people go to college for the social experience, and whether that's important to you or not, you have to consider. Now, if you're thinking about doing an online program, then you're not going to benefit necessarily from that social experience. So that's probably going to be not very important. But if you want that social experience, maybe you're going to be a 3, 4, or 5 here. So you decide. Next, do you plan to choose online, in-person, or a combination of both? So do you want online course, which means you don't necessarily have to travel. You may not have to meet a particular schedule. It's more open-ended. Or do you want to be there in person, which may have more limitations in terms of meeting the schedules that the school sets and so on. Question 4, how easy or difficult will it be to fit within school schedules? So we're just talking about that. So if you have a busy home life, if you're taking care of friends, family, kids, and so on, it's probably going to be difficult for you to fit within that schedule, especially if you also add commuting on top of that. If it's going to be easy for you, then it makes it easier for you to commit to college. So where are you on that level? So if it's difficult for you to meet schedules, you're going to be a 0 or 1. If it's easy, you're going to be a 4 or 5, or you might be somewhere in between. 5, how were your grades in high school? So did you have bad grades, good grades, somewhere in between? So bad would be 0, good would be 5, somewhere in between. Now, this is not asking you what you felt about school. It's just what were your grades. Maybe you could have done better. You just didn't apply yourself. That's not what this is asking. This is simply asking, how were your grades? If they're good, give it a 4 or 5. If they're bad, 0, 1, or somewhere in between. Next, how easy or difficult has school been for you? So did you find school pretty easy? Then you're at a 4 or 5. If it was not easy, 0, 1. And now we're talking about more the academics of school, having to study, having to sit through things, having to understand concepts, having to do homework. Where do you fit on this scale? Next, how do you feel about schoolwork? So when you were doing your schoolwork, did you feel engaged? Did it maintain your interest? Do you want to keep going? Were you curious? That would be a 4 or 5. Did you find it pretty boring, uninteresting, lacking inspiration? 0 or 1, or maybe somewhere in between. Question 8. Do you need the constant support of an instructor to guide your learning? So a lot of people are good learning on their own. Maybe occasionally they'll ask for a little bit of help here and there, but they're good on their own, and they're going to be a no, 0 or 1. But if you're the kind of person that constantly needs someone there to help you and guide you, then you're going to be more towards the 4 or 5, where you need more structure, more guidance, or you might be in somewhere in between, which is probably where most people are going to be. Number 9, how sure are you that investing years of your life in school are what you want to do? So keep in mind, to get a degree or diploma, typically it's 2 to 4 years if you're doing it full time. Sometimes it could be a little less, but typically on average it's 2 to 4 years. If you go into more extreme programs, it could be 5, 6, 7 years. But on average, I think you're going to find it's 2 to 4 years full time. So if you're doing it part time, you're going to potentially double or even triple the amount of commitment you're making to this other thing that is costing you money, costing you time, with the hope that it's going to make you more money in the future, which is uncertain, of course. So where are you on that? Are you unsure if you want to invest years of your life? Are you very sure this is what I want to do? Give yourself a 5 or 4. If you're unsure, you're a 0, 1, or somewhere in between. How sure are you that studying business is the right fit? So I'm talking specifically about business in this video. Is business the right fit? If you're not really sure, then do you really want to commit time and money to college when you might spend a whole bunch of time and money and realize, this is just not for me. It's not what I thought it was. And maybe you drop out and you lose all that time and money. Maybe you switch, but now you've been delayed by the 6 months, a year, 2 years that it's taking you to figure out that it's not the right fit for you. So if you're unsure, you're going to give yourself a 0 or 1. If you're sure, you're a 4 or 5. Maybe you're somewhere in between, a 2 or 3, if you have some uncertainty. Do you have a specific aspect of business that you want to specialize in? So if you already know what you want to specialize in, you're probably going to be more towards a yes, a 4 or 5. If you just don't know, if you think, yeah, I think business, but I just don't know if it's accounting, it's finance, entrepreneurship, marketing, then you're going to be a 0 or 1, but maybe you might be somewhere in between with a 2 or 3. Do you want to start your own business someday? This is an important question. Do you want to start your own business someday? And if you are sure you do, give yourself a 4 or 5. If you do not, you're sure I do not want to start a business, then you're 0. If you're a maybe, you're going to be a 1, 2, or 3. Now the next question is, when do you want to start your own business? So assuming you were thinking about starting your own business, do you want to start it soon? Soon would be 1 year, 2 years. If you never want to start a business, it's going to be a 0, or if it's far in the future, like maybe 10 years, 20 years down the road, or it's somewhere in between. Maybe it's in a few, 3, 4 years, that would be like a 1, 2, 3. But if you want to do it soon in the next year or 2, then that would be a 5. The reason this is important is if you really want to start your business soon, college is not going to get you there fast. And you may find yourself kind of sitting there doing all this work, spending all this money and thinking, I could be doing this for my own business rather than investing in this. And you're going to find that most business programs are not really suitable for teaching entrepreneurship and getting you as an entrepreneur. Most people want to be entrepreneurs, want to be out and doing things, not sitting and hearing about other people doing things. You want to do it yourself. Obviously, you want to learn from other people. That's a big part of it. But to sit and wait for 2, 3, 4 years and pay a lot of money you could be investing in your own business, time you could be investing in your own business, that can be very difficult for people who are thinking like entrepreneurs. So this is an important question of when. Now, question 14, are you aware that having a career in business may not require a college degree or diploma? So I've explained this all at the beginning, and some people are not even aware of that. And if you're aware of it and still want to go to college, then that's a 4 or 5. If you weren't aware of it and you're just learning it now and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm having some second thoughts here, maybe college is not the best option, maybe there are other options, that's where you'd be a 0 or 1, or maybe you're somewhere in the middle with a 2 or 3. Are you aware that employers are increasingly not requiring college degrees or diplomas? Again, similar to what we talked about a moment ago and earlier. If you were aware of this and still want to go to college, then you're a 4 or 5. If you weren't aware of it and you're discovering it now and realizing, wow, I didn't realize this. And the trend is increasing that fewer and fewer employers, again, including entire governments, are saying we're no longer going to require credentials if the job itself does not absolutely 100% need them. So rate yourself here on this scale. 16, how much money will you have to borrow to pay for your school and related expenses? So this is kind of a generic question. It's not for a specific amount, but is it a low amount? Do you have to borrow a low amount? Maybe you have enough money, maybe you have enough support. You don't have to borrow very much money at all, or a low amount would be like a few $1,000s. And that's for your entire duration of your schooling and living and everything that you have to do while you're going at school and not earning money. So keep that in mind. If it's a high amount, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, some people have to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college, depending on the college you choose and how long it takes you to get through it. So if you're going to borrow a high amount, you're going to rate that as 0 or 1, a low amount, 4 or 5, or somewhere in between. How sure are you that you will fully complete college? So as I mentioned earlier, there's a very high dropout rate in college, where people do not finish college. They spend time, they spend money, they go into debt, and they still have to repay that debt, even if you don't finish. Then consider how sure you are that you're going to complete it. If you're very sure, you're a 4 or 5. If you're unsure, you're a 0 or 1, or maybe somewhere in between. Next, are you aware that if you drop out of school, you'll still have to pay your school loans? I just mentioned that a moment ago, that you're not relieved from your debt just because you decided not to continue or something happened in your life and you can't continue. You're going to have to repay your loan. So are you aware of it and willing to take that risk? Then you're a 4 or 5. If you're not, then you're a 0 or 1. If you're not really sure, maybe somewhere in between, maybe a 2 or 3. All right, last question. Are you open to alternative ways to gain business skills other than college? So I think we got this question reversed. So we're going to reverse this. So if you are open to alternative methods, that's going to be on the left. So this should be a yes. We're going to be a 0 or 1. If you're not open to alternative methods and you absolutely think college is the best way for you, then you're going to be a no, which is going to be a 4 or 5 for you. Or maybe you're going to be somewhere in between. So you're going to now add up all of your points. Okay, so it's 0 to 5 for all of your questions. Add up all of your points. So your maximum score is going to be around a 90. So if you score 60 or less, you probably may not be suitable for college because you've answered so many questions that don't necessarily align to the way college delivers education and training and how it maps to your life, that you really should consider alternatives. If you've scored 75, 80, 85, 90, then it sounds as though you really want to go to college. Whether it's the best fit for you or not, no one will ever know because no one can predict the future. But based on your answers to the questions, it sounds as though college is going to be the right fit for you. And then if you're somewhere in between that, it's a little bit uncertainty. I'd encourage you to explore various opportunities and think through things a little bit more deeply. So I'm Matthew Giorgio. I develop a variety of experiential learning resources to help people learn business. My resources are used in universities, schools, businesses, Fortune 500 companies around the world to teach business. And what I do is I help people learn business. I help people learn entrepreneurship. And I try to do it in using methodologies that are very realistic, engaging, very fast. And you might, if you do go to college, you might actually end up using some of my resources. If you decide not to go to college, I do want to share with you an alternative that we do have. It's called businessXP. This is the website here. You can get to it at business-xp.com, business-xp.com. The XP stands for experience points, just like in gaming, because what we do with businessXP is we use highly realistic games and simulations to teach business faster and more immersive methodologies than you will find in other methods, which allows us to train you on business many, many times faster than going through traditional learning methods like school and so on. So if you go to college, you may end up using some of my resources, but if you think that college is not a fit for you and you want to learn faster and more immersive way, more engaging way, more affordable than college, then I encourage you to check out business-xp.com. You can get started for free with a number of our free resources that I think you'll find very useful. And hopefully you found that checklist useful. Try it again, in a month from now and see if your attitudes have changed. And I hope you might find it useful, and best wishes with what comes next for you.